Okay, well, then we have to do it on 17th. Okay. All right, can we make a motion?
Motion to move it to the 17th?
All right, so that's Mr. Riley, and can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rassi?
First October.
All right, how about some more conversation about this?
No.
That's going to be Steve's birthday.
All right,
That's going to be Steve's birthday, so he'll bring goodies for us.
yeah, all right, all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Madam Clerk, that's unanimous?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we're going to move into report of the city manager. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Mr. Hort.
Good evening again. We're going to go ahead and get started on the manager's report. As most of you know, we had discussions of Douglas Drive paving. The actual paving has been completed, and all that's left is to do the thermal striping and some cleanup around the area, but it has been paved.
How much was that project, sir?
$492,000. I have no idea right now, sir, to be just totally honest with you.
It's approximate number, $500,000. 382.
Far off.
It's called Gorilla Number. Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Just keep right on moving ahead. Through all the other information, council, you do have the whole shooting match. The highlighted stuff is the updated stuff. FYI, the question of public works staffing level. They have 44 positions with 4 part-timers and currently 9 vacancies. We have 2 that are out on medical leave. We have 2 employees that are working out their notices, and we've got 2 coming to work on Wednesday, hopefully. And we have 2 job offers pending. If you remember, the last time we had this conversation, we were at 11 vacancies. We've got a lot moving and we've got a lot happening. Yes, sir.
Do you still have EMTs, firefighters helping out?
Yes, we're not to that part, Mr. Jones. You're getting too fast.
Yes, sir.
I got a question on this part. On the medical leave, with their long-term medical leave personnel, do we authorize temporary hires to come in behind them while they're out?
Depending on how long the leave
Yeah,
is
that's what I said.
forecasted at, if it's a temporary,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Robbie, with this, I think, not trying to telegraph what we need to do, but would you include the option, like we did for the police force, to be able to attract candidates by?
We are in the process of working on, we just haven't got everything put together because we've actually had like as many as 7 in the pipeline that we're going through that had been interviewed and everything else. They went out for their physicals or they didn't show up for their physicals or something like that. So we've been going through that process. There's been a lot of concentration, but we've also, at our last at the last management team meeting, we had a very in-depth conversation as a group of setting up a work fair, sort of. Now, here's my qualifying. One of the things that we're seeing coming down the pipeline is a lot of folks don't know how to write a resume. A lot of folks don't know how to communicate either on the computer or even speaking face to face. And one of the things that we're working towards is having an event where you're interested in a job in the city of St. Mary's, Public Works. Show up at this time, come see us, let us help you with your application. If we see value when we're talking to them, we can send Bobby and 1 or 2 of his back there and they can have a quick ad hoc interview. Hey, can you come back and see us in a couple of days and let's sit down, let's have a real in-depth conversation here. But a lot of people are intimidated by that process of interviews and resumes and everything else. So that's one of the avenues that we're taking a very strong approach on.
Okay, and I know the other thing, which, again, we fall back to the process that helped the chief and us with reestablishing a strong police force was, I would take the blinders off and say, do we have to go revisit the salary schedule? And I know we're very careful. We spent a lot of time and some hard thinking and some questions about how we did it to create that salary matrix that we put together.
That's another component of what we're trying to do.
Put it in there. Don't take the blinders off.
Our HR, Ms. Larson, is reaching out to other communities of like size and area and determining what the market is and making sure we're still tracking. One of the things that we found because of what y'all as a council did regarding pay, it has us in a very good spot. We're validating what we've seen over the last year to see if there's been any changes. But we are working on that as well in the meantime.
Because we don't want to, with what we've asked you to do, we don't want to hamstring you with precluding that as an option when you come back and tell us what you think in the redesign of how we're going to try and make landscaping and mowing work
Yes, sir.
at all. So, if there's,
Okay.
the last thing we want to do is hamstring you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, moving on, the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program. At your last council meeting, you approved the agreement for that grant, so we should be seeing it. Under IT, we're making the final tweaks on the new website before rolling it out. Ladies and gentlemen, the downtown cameras that everybody has enjoyed off the website for many, many years, that we lost them, and everybody's called me and said really nice things to me and about that. But they are up again. And stand by, there may be more to look at as well in a couple of months. We've got some technical issues, but the two main cameras that everybody's really enjoyed are back up and in operation. Yes, they have gone down. We've seen the internet provider is having problems in that area and has dropped us a time or two as well. So just be cognizant of it. If you see it, you got my number, shoot me a number or shoot me a message and I'll be happy to look into it, figure out what's going on. Our finance department, the audit fiscal year 2024 has begun. Staff has been working diligently in the last 2 months working on the year-end process. Auditors will be here next Monday, the 23rd, to begin the on-site reviews and testing. The finance department should be receiving the 2024 tax digest sometime next week. Okay. In the police department, SROs have been very active week concerning school safety issues. 6 juveniles have been charged last week alone. If you don't know what they're talking about, those are the threats that have been being made in our community. There's been no community that has been immune to these situations, and I'm Chief, I'm not trying to steal anything from you, but it's not just our police forces of Camden County that are involved with SRO have been extremely reactive and proactive in their stance of addressing these situations.
Could I ask a quick question for you too?
No, sure. Go ahead.
When you are able to flush out these issues with, like, these juveniles, do you find them through the SROs more than anywhere else, or is it from?
A combination. It's a combination, correct, Chief?
That's correct, yes, sir.
They're not, so they get it through
Yes.
teachers and other
networks.
avenues also, Chief?
The networks.
Okay.
What's the punishment for that, Robbie?
I'm sorry?
What's the punishment? I mean, when they get caught for something, what's the punishment?
Depends on what is done. I know there was a child, or He was actually I think it was a fourth grader down in Florida that had been posting and had a list of targets and all this kind of stuff, and he was charged with a felony. So,
Let me ask you a question. With the problem that we're having with the DA's office, will that affect these kids,
I'm uncertain of that, boss.
Chief?
Yes, sir, we anticipate a delay in prosecution of the juvenile cases since the DA's office is no longer providing a prosecutor for juvenile court. Juvenile court will have to hire their own. So by the time they start that process and vet them, we do see a delay coming in prosecution of that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Our cadets have successfully completed EVOC and are in week 6 of the academy. If everybody's aware, the EVOC is the Emergency Vehicle Operations course. That in the firearms is usually where we end up seeing trouble with our cadets, but we've been successful so far. For the month of August, officers answered 3,208 service calls. Officers conducted 1,189 security checks. Officers made 71 arrests, 10 of which were DUI. During the month of August, 246 school zone tickets were issued. These are separate from the other ones I mentioned earlier. Please slow down, especially in school zones.
Is that because of the cameras or a combination?
Main Street for occupational tax
I had
license.
one question
Yes, sir.
before you leave the police there. Of the 402 traffic stops, how many were for littering?
It's a good
Uncertain,
point.
sir.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
2?
I'll have to get you that number, sir. I did not get the exact breakdown.
I thought you were going to be ready for that question.
Yes, you think I've heard by now.
Ballpark?
Just remember, the first annual Southeast Barbecue and Blues Festival takes place Saturday, 9/21, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Waterfront Park. DASN committee approved the final draft of the Business Incubator Grant, adding this to our toolbox of incentives for new and existing businesses. Downtown Development Authority planning a merchants meeting to kick off the holiday season in St. Mary's. Holiday open house is scheduled for November 1st. Sponsoring October 1st Friday for Market on the Square's annual Dogtoberfest. That's a new one, excuse me on that. Moving ahead. Exit 1, the Commerce Park, we're wrapping up that project. We're working on the signage and the entrances for that project, but that is wrapping up. Everybody, not to be disrespectful, I'm gonna turn to citizens on this one. Winding Road, Colerain Road traffic light. Our engineers are wrapping up the 4th traffic study for Winding and Colerain Road intersection for possible signalization. Once it is complete, it will be sent to GDOT. Mr. Morrow and I met with the regional engineer and have discussed it. They are aware of the issue and awaiting our report. It seems to be a lot more positive than we've ever had, folks. So we're
Good.
keeping our fingers crossed and
Good.
saying our prayers and doing everything we can to try to help them along.
Good job.
Do you think that the building activity on the corner there in Kingsland?
That was,
help
Kingsland's
move that?
Construction also assisted with it because we had a better idea of exactly what was going on there. Just a little tidbit of information here. I think Mr. Jones mentioned earlier the number of days of rain. And Mr. Jones, I don't have the opportunity to do this often, but I'm certainly not going to miss this opportunity, sir, but you were incorrect.
Oh,
And I'm going to get to it in just a minute. Did you know the city of St. Mary's has 115 miles of streets?
Yeah.
And has 129 miles of stormwater pipes, ditches, and canals. So that's 330 miles of right-of-way. Did you know it takes 2.5 weeks to mow the entire city right-of-way in perfect weather conditions? Did you know the city of St. Mary's since January 1st, here's where you're wrong, Mr. Jones, so pay attention. The city of St. Mary's since January 1st of 2024 has had a total of approximately 48.47 inches of rain. Since August 1st of 2024, there have been a total of approximately 20.94 inches of rain.
Where was I
These,
wrong?
these figures come from NOAA. Out of the 260 days this year, 98 of them have had rain. And the month of September, we've had rain every day.
That ain't funny.
What did I say?
You said for the last 3 weeks. We're on the 16th. That means we're one day over. Mr. Mayor, that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it.
I stand corrected.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Orton. So we're moving to granting audience to the public, and yes, ma'am, as soon as this gentleman is done, why don't you come up? Okay. Yes, sir.
I think he turned it off.
Oh, goodness.
Larry White, 102 Sylvia's Court. I wasn't going to say anything, Marty, but I'll make it wrong again. You made the statement that there was only one submarine base on the East Coast, and that was at St. Mary's.
Try it.
There are a couple others.
Try it, somebody.
3 more.
Then you're correct. Okay, I do want to make one comment. As speaking for the public, I don't care what training you all go to or how much you travel, as long as it's in the interest of all the citizens of St. Mary's. If you're going to do any training, do it on our part. If you go a little bit over budget, that's fine. But don't try to compare us to Kingsland, because Kingsland's not worth being compared to.
Amen.
One other point, I brought it up before about cleanup after they do the paving. You may have Bobby talk about GDOT again, because in the corner of Spur 40 and 40, there's a little island there where you can make a right going west on 40 from Spur 40. That little island has been messed up since they finished paving that area. There's still blacktop, or tar and blacktop, still sitting on that island. And I will make one public service announcement. The forums that are going to be taking place at the rec center, for PSA Rec Center, for elections in the city of St. Mary's, the dates, the first date is the 24th of September. That's for post number 6 and for number 4 for the candidates, so you can meet the candidates for those 2 posts. And on the 30th of September is the forum for the mayor, seat for the mayor. And on the 1st of October is post 5. So I don't know if you're traveling then, or not, but that's the forum for post 5. And also the last day to register to vote in November's general election is the 7th of October.
Larry, do you have the representative's date? Didn't he schedule something for representatives?
Yeah, I believe that's the 25th. I don't have that date right in front of me, but it is after that.
Is that correct?
26th? Okay, the 26th. 6th of September.
26?
It's in the PSA Rec Center. The forums begin at 6 p.m. and the doors open at 5:30.
Yeah, thank you. Important. Okay. Now, ma'am. Thank you for your patience.
Yes. I think I'm still Karen White. I don't know, maybe not. 609 Margaret Street. I came to talk about the gate at the marina. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been handled. that's going to be moved. That was the main thing. We were going to move it, I was requesting that it be moved from where it is currently to the top of the gangplank so that all the people of St. Mary's, because it is a public marina, could use and utilize the gazebo. So, am I correct on that?
Yeah.
That it is being handled? And it's going to be moved at some point? Do we have any time frame for that?
We've got the folks that were doing it, we're shorthanded in that area this week and sometime probably next week, during next week.
So the same people that put it in aren't going to move it? Probably not? Okay. Well, I am very impressed with the people that came forward, the residents. I think they did a great job because a lot of those people are walkers and they want to be able to enjoy that. And I also thank Lisa because she came out and met me there. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
And speaking of mowing, one might want to mow that grass.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am? Bert will be, you're next. Okay.
Careful.
Good evening, council members. Retina Dawson, 89 Millers Branch Drive. I wanted to touch on two things. Training. All of us here, city council, and many of us in the audience, we all understand and have a respect for education. And in a city of this size, even though we're not as large as other cities, but we're large enough, and we are expanding. So it's important for training to be on the agenda for every council member in the best interest of the city, of its citizens. It's also important that the city consider that with the cost of everything going up, it would be the wrong assumption to make that you would be able to reduce training costs because you have to consider travel especially has gone up. A conference may not be as expensive as a plane ticket or what have you. And I also think it's important that we utilize our city employees carefully and not inundate them with things that as city council members you can do on your own. You can do your own research to determine what's the best needs of the citizens, and you can come back and you can have discussion regarding, based upon your research, what would be in the best needs of citizens in the city of St. Mary, as opposed to tasking our city manager with another task on his or her plate. His plate, excuse me. So I think it's important.
Or
Her. I think it's important
couldn't help it, it's late.
that be taken into consideration when we start having, when we bring up issues that we then pass the buck. I think that's being lazy, and I think that you should, if this is something that you're concerned about and you're passionate about, do your own work, do your own research, and find out what the needs of your city are. For example, something I'm passionate about, agriculture. Something that would be great for the city of St. Mary's, given our size, is if we had a community garden. That would be something that would bring money to the city. And it could be utilized in a number of different ways. We don't have a community garden, but we are considered a food desert. So it's really important that training is definitely on the agenda for all council members, not just one or two. But it's important that everybody look at training as it being significant. The last thing that I want to talk about is the public works. The city manager brought up the positions that were available in public works. I have referred a lot of younger citizens to the St. Mary's website to apply for positions. And I'll come back and ask them in a couple of weeks, hey, have you heard anything? And I heard the city manager say that, people don't get callbacks or, they don't respond or they're not responsive. Well, it's one thing for them not to be responsive. It's another thing for the city not to respond to the applicants that apply on the website. So it's one thing for us to say, oh, we have a shortage and we need people. But if the city is not following up with the applicants that apply to positions, and one particular position I'm speaking of is the meter reader. I'm not sure if that has been filled yet, but I do know for a fact that I did refer somebody to that position and they were never called. So we just want to make sure that the people that are applying for the positions are getting called. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, because what you brought up is very important. One of the things that we're finding, we use a program called Bamboo that sends. Please have the folks check their junk file, because sometimes when it comes back in, it's going to that junk file. Please ask them to do that, because the minute they put in an application, they should get a response that we're acknowledging that we've received it.
Okay, I will, and then if they did and they still haven't gotten a call, I'll let them know to come talk to you.
HR.
All right.
Oh.
Yes,
Sort
sir.
it up to city manager.
Bert Seas 816 Riverview Drive. Man, you under the gun. There was so much good things came up, you know. I really thought you was gonna say something along the lines that they will go into conferences and partying like Wounded Warrior. That's a thing that we got hit, not here, but I'm talking, that was a big thing that people were spending money. The Wounded Warrior program, that's what I thought was something similar like that you want to come up with, man. Like, but you came up with, I think that could have been an in-house discussion, and that could have really been settled. We spent 30 minutes on this thing, man. 30 minutes. I'm not saying, you know, I'm just pointing it out. We spent 30 minutes about this training thing. So I'm not gonna hit it anymore. I'm gonna tell you what. I wanna put two things out there. I stood right here on this podium, and I spoke about the Gilligan's Island situation. You know what I mean? And of course, they say it was private property at the time. Of course, someone got killed there because they drowned the individual, and then finally action was taken. I'm gonna throw one more out. Cumberland Oaks. That's a Cabrini Green action in a small way. And I think we need to take a look at the Cumberland Oaks situation, because we have people over there that are not getting service, you know, and the Cumberland Oaks people are federally funded to a point, and I think it needs to be looked into. Thank you, guys.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Linnell Davis, 310 Bowen Street. Some of you may know, some of you may not know, I manage Coleraine Oaks, completely different community than Cumberland Oaks. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
I know that Lisa James came to my community when I invited every council member to come and look at the drainage issue that I had going on for decades. There were two seated members here that actually took the time to show up and look. No one else did. I do want to let you know, and I want to update the city manager, he is extremely a wonderful human being. Love having him as a neighbor, just an overall nice gentleman. You did clean out my culvert. So my ditches were cleaned and my culvert was cleaned, okay? So that job was completed. And from the second that they completed that job, my community drained. 100%, no standing water anywhere from the second that they actually unplugged the culvert. That's all it took, was actually cleaning the ditch, digging them out, cleaning out the culvert, okay? I get that you have, jobs that you're offering $14 an hour for people to work, but they can make that at Subway making sandwiches. So I really think that you need to look at, raising the salary, especially when you want to pay a CDL person $16 an hour for a commercial driver's license. That's a joke. My other thing is, Mr. Artie talked about the conditions of the living at Cumberland Oaks versus, that the issue wasn't the drainage, the issues is their living conditions. One thing has nothing to do with the other. I mean, I just need people to address your job, which is the ditches, making sure that's done and that's taken care of. It was also pointed out that it takes 2.5 weeks to do a city right-of-way. I counted the hours. I went up there every day that they were working on those ditches. The first day they came, they worked for 2 hours. The next day they came, they worked for 2.5 hours. Then they finally showed up a full day, and they were there before 8 o'clock in the morning when I was told that they weren't supposed to be there when the buses were running in the morning and the afternoon, but they worked that entire day. So it took them 12.5 hours to clean the ditches from St. Mary's Road to Kings Bay Road, completely digging them and checking the culverts and cleaning a culvert out. So if they actually dedicate the amount of time to the ditches that needs to be dedicated and work a full day, they can get this stuff done a lot faster. They just need supervisors watching them. Maybe they need a software system where they can take a photo at the end of the day that shows, hey, we've completed from here to here. Bob and Mark were the guys on the job. These are the hours that we worked, and this is what we've got done. But I don't know if you guys have that system. I know doing maintenance on houses, you know, I require my guys, the second you go in a house, this is the time you got there, this is the time you leave, and these are photos of what you got completed. So there's no questions asked. I think that that's not too much to ask for the city. And I think I get that we have 100 and however many miles of ditches. But when you don't do the ditches at all for 12 months, 24 months, you have a study from 2008 on the master plan that tells you have specific areas that are predisposed for actually, you know, going ahead and flooding ahead of anywhere else. Maybe those areas need to go on the schedule 2 or 3 times a year instead of just once. But a lot of these communities aren't even getting on the schedule once a year. So if you don't maintain the ditches that you already have, then yeah, you're looking at spending hundreds of thousands of dollars of improving them, but it's just deferred maintenance. That's all it is. It's just showing up with the equipment and the guys to actually do the labor. And I think that's basically anybody's, you know, that's what we're all asking for.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Robert Moore, 509 Westgate Circle. I just want to interject a little joke. Since the senior center is going to be closed down for a week, could they go over to the middle school? That way it's less transportation for the food. But I am afraid that Larry may scare my child. So, this whole drainage thing, it seems like 2018, millage rate increase, we paid money. One reason was for public works crews, and I remember myself and many other people said, why can't we just let the public works crews focus and work on that, and then we started the stormwater utility. We put a lot of time in that, and there was boards, and I thought was actually a trend I've noticed tonight is it's very selective what topics do we use the metric of, do we compare ourselves to other cities? Stormwater Utility Board, when I sat in on those, that was comparing, I think it was the city of Augusta. I don't know, like the training topic, no, let's not compare to other cities because we're special and we have special needs, so let's have whatever special training we need. But for public works, let's compare to other small cities. Well, as you said, Councilman Jones, we have water. Yeah, it's a lot of it sitting in our ditches, not flowing. So it's a weird metric that it seems to be used selectively of do we compare to other cities of similar size and I guess of revenue. So let's just go ahead and man up. Since we already invested the money, let's just go ahead and put the $5 to $10 on a water bill. Let's get that money flowing. Let's do the stormwater utility fee. Let whatever political backlash of the vote that comes up this fall and move forward, because I've been coming down here since 2018 advocating constantly along with Mr. Itel for my subdivision to get outfall ditches, to get the winding road ditch that turns into the canal that runs to Crooked River. Like I've talked to former council member and Commissioner Gary Blunt. He told me years ago that there was a discussion of a schedule that had public works crews going around and hitting it, but leaving like a slush of, okay, we project that you can do these areas in 2 weeks. 1 week is unscheduled. Well, that gives you room for rain and storms and everything else. I don't know. I guess I'm just getting frustrated at 6 years, and now we're back to, oh, we don't have enough people. Oh, it's the weather. I got here in 2004 from another submarine base on the East Coast. I came down here, and I was like, man, it rains at 3 o'clock almost every day from April to October. It's wet, it's muggy, it's hot, and it rains. Oh, wait a second, and it rains again. So I don't see why it's such a, I don't know. It's, well, I guess there's a reason why I've got a long-term plan to go ahead and move up to the north end where there's higher ground and less politics and less ordinances and everything else. Y'all have a good night.
All right, who's next? Yes, sir.
Dave Schmitz, I'm still at 112 New Hammock Circle, and that's in Chatelawn. You guys actually spent more time talking about, let me make sure I don't misspeak. Spent more time talking about travel and training than you did about Dollar General in front of Chatelawn. But I have a public service announcement. The Alzheimer's Walk this year will be on the 26th of October. Sign-ups and so forth will start around 8 o'clock in the morning, and by the time all the festivities before the walk get going, it'll probably be about 9:30 when the walk starts. So please put that on your calendars.
And the poster was dropped off today.
Awesome.
All right, who's next? All right, thank you all. And with that, we'll start with our calendar. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. On Tuesday, September the 24th, at 3:30 p.m. in the Ward Hernandez Building, we have the St. Mary's Convention and Visitors Bureau Authority meeting, followed by the 5:30 p.m. Historic Preservation Commission meeting here in Council Chambers. On October the 1st, which is a Tuesday at 2 o'clock p.m. here in Council Chambers, we have a request for proposals to conduct a tree board inventory within a portion of the city. On Wednesday, October the 2nd at 5 o'clock p.m. in the Main Street office, we have the Development Authority of St. Mary's meeting. On Thursday, October the 3rd at 5 o'clock p.m., the master plan and town hall has been moved to the 17th. On Friday, October the 14th at 9 o'clock a.m., we have St. Mary's Municipal Court. And on Monday, October the 7th at 6 o'clock p.m., City Council meeting.
All right, ma'am, thank you. Mr. Jones, why don't we start with you? You got any comments for the room?
I have a lot of comments, but I'll just bring out a few. First of all, Mr. White, I meant Trident Submarine Base. Listen, sometime we don't get it all out when we're trying to get everything together. First of all, I want to say the lady from Cumberland, it's Corrine Oaks, that said that, 2 people came by. Well, I've been by about 4 times. I didn't come to see you. I just wanted to look at the situation. And one day after I went by, well, the second day after I went by, I went to talk to, ask Bobby Marr if I could talk to he and his staff to see what we could do to help alleviate some of these problems. And he told me what they were going to do. And with the staff that he's got, and I know people are tired of hearing it, I think he did a fantastic job with the staff that he's got. And he's even getting people from the fire department to come in and work part-time with the grass cutting. And this is a very swampy area. And we need to do a fix-all for our ditches. I've been here probably longer than just about anybody, 70-plus years. And I can tell you, we have some areas that the ditch hasn't been pulled in maybe 20, 25 years. We're going to have to do a better job. And I think when I left Mr. Marr's office, he had a plan that I think will work because we're going to have to contract out some things. We just don't have the staff or can't get the staff to do it. And you said that I was talking about inside. I was using House Bill 404, which was a bill that I think everybody in this area need to know about. You need to get some training on it because not only do we have problems outside with flooding, if you go to some of these apartment complexes, I wouldn't let my dog stay in some of these places. But these are the kind of people that won't say anything. You don't hear anything unless it's on Channel 12 News. That's what I was getting at.
Do you want to do this again? No choice.
All right.
And getting back to travel, like you said, we spent more time talking about travel than we did about Dollar General. And some people are going to travel and some people won't. Personally, I don't like to do a lot of the travel, but when I see things come up that I think I need training in, I'll go to it. And Alan, like you said, some of the training, you just figure it was a waste of your time. If you don't need it, don't get it.
Yep.
There are going to probably be a lot of people that won't do any travel. I commended Lisa on her traveling and what she did and the things that she accomplished within the state, District 12 president, where she finds out things firsthand that can help the city of St. Mary's. So, I wish we can put this to bed. We do need some oversight. We do need a budget that we can agree with. But you're talking about $50, $60, I think it was $50,000 a year.
44.
Well, let's just say $50,000 a year. That's peanuts considering the good that we do and some of the things that we bring in, especially with the grants. Mr. Riley, and you don't even realize some of the training that you took, Steve, helped in getting Mr. Riley's trails, the grant for the trails. So, only thing it's like a man doing a magic act. He's trying to get you to look up here when the actual situation down here is where you should be looking. So, let's not get too high up on a lot of these things. Let's look at what we need to do and what's best for the city of St. Mary's. We all up here have the best interests. It's just that we have different ways of getting there. Thank you, Mayor.
I'll be very brief with what I'm going to say. We can do better. All of us. That includes me. That includes our mayor. That includes everybody. We can do better. And we're going to do better. And as far as the Cumberland Oaks, I've been out there as well. I drove out there, I think it was 2 or 3 days after the real bad flood. And, Colerain, please excuse me. Yeah, but I drove out there. And to be totally honest with you, I haven't lived here as long as Artie because I'm simply not as old as Artie, but I've been here all my life. And There's just some areas around that flood really, really bad. That happens to be one of them. Can we do a better job? Yes. Do we need to do a better job? Absolutely. And we need to do that. You know, we need to hire more people. I think Bobby Marr does an unbelievably great job with what he does. And, but we can do better. That's all of us, including myself. City of St. Mary's is a very special place. Sometimes on an afternoon, even during the week, just go downtown. That'll tell you how special this place is. You can just sit there for 10 or 15 minutes and you don't see more than 5 or 6 cars drive by. For me, being an older person, that's heaven on earth. Being honest with you. Just being able to, how many places can you go? If you leave St. Mary's and you go to Walmart, you don't have a ton of traffic. If you leave an area in Atlanta and you go 5 minutes, it takes you 50 minutes to get there, and you're 5 minutes away. This is a great place. And we've had a lot of people that have come before me and other city council members on this, on our council that have paid the price for this city to be better, and we certainly want it to be better. Thank you so much.
Chad?
Hi, we have had a long evening, so I will be brief. But I just want to say that I do like that we can get up here and have a conversation about something where we all might not agree. If we always got up here and agreed on everything, you might have the wrong bunch sitting up here. We're going to have a discussion, and it'll be, anything that we didn't agree on, it'll be addressed and discussed, and we'll have a resolution. And I don't care which way it falls. If it falls one way or the other, I'm still going to get along with everybody up here, and everybody in the town. I don't hold just because we disagree doesn't mean we don't like each other. I like and respect everybody up here. So I enjoy the healthy discussion. I did have lots of discussions before this meeting. This is something on the training and travel that I've had on my plate for a couple months now, and I've had a lot of discussions. It wasn't just something I came up with on my own. So I do encourage other people, citizens, please email me. I'd like your feedback. I'll take all the feedback, and I don't feel that I'm trying to dictate anything. I'm just trying to put together what I felt was the will of the constituents that I represent. And that's what I was doing here tonight, and I'll continue to do that. So my email's on the city website, and I look forward to hearing from anybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Yes, sir.
Okay, I just got one real thing to mention, and that's with the stormwater utility. That was mentioned tonight. We chose not to implement that, other than we did approve it. It sits there, but we chose not to approve because of the period of history we're in. It was primarily COVID, and we didn't know what was going to happen with respect to all of our citizens, and we didn't want to harm them with a fee at that time. And we roll that forward, and we're getting to the end with it. We're feeling that impact. And that's one of the things that we brought up at a few meetings, and we're going to continue to push and get this thing implemented. And the value of the stormwater utility is that when those stormwater crews are hired, they have to work on stormwater ditches. They can't be vectored off into another area, and that's going to help us achieve what we've talked about considerably over the last few months. That's the reason it was in the master plan. It's the reason we worked on it the way we did. It's the reason it's there. Now it's time to go ahead and consider when we want to make it operational. So with that said, we have been here a long time, and I won't say much more.
I echo my council members' thoughts on everything we discussed tonight, and there are two things I want to bring to your attention. I was somewhat skeptical about 8 months ago when we brought a new head football coach in. But today I sat in a meeting and I heard Coach Travis Rowland share his heart. And he talked about St. Mary's. He talked about Camden County. And the reason why he came here to be our head coach was because of the elementary schools and the incredible community that we have here. He's an incredible coach, and yes, our football team's 5-0 right now. But he cares about the kids and development of leadership in our schools and with the team. I think if we keep caring for each other like we're supposed to, we're going to grow this community up and help each other out. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And if you see someone in need, you reach out and help them. I'll talk about it next council meeting. There's something big coming on. It's going to involve our school system, the Navy, and our community, as we will all work together to help 150 families. But on October 5th is our Seafood Festival coming up. And that's a big festival. And the big thing I'm asking from all of you, not only attend, but also pray for dry weather.
That might be a foregone prayer.
Wow, all right, thank you. I feel like that I don't even want to hear the word training ever again after tonight, but Mr. Ingram is right. I mean, we do have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and as far as I'm concerned, we're always trying to do the best for this community. Anything that I do, I'm thinking about the value, not just for myself, but for my colleagues as well as the city. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So I'm going to say that. Multiple people have told me that I do a terrible job talking about myself because I spend a lot of time in the city. I spend a lot of time talking to people like Miss Davis and other folks around town, trying to find out exactly what it is that they need from us, because that's what we're here for. We're not here for ourselves. So I'm just going to say a couple of words. I have been dedicated, passionate, transparent, fair, and community-focused the entire time that I've sat on this council. But I'm not perfect. We don't always get it right, but we learn from our mistakes. At least I do. And that's the expectation that I set for myself. And if you haven't seen that, then you don't know me. But I do want to say that, in this time of really, getting out and talking to people, I went to Cumberland Oaks as well as Coleraine Oaks. And I was disheartened, by what I saw. Yes, there's water in the parking lot. And Mr. Jones probably didn't say it like I'm about to say it, but what I saw in their homes made me feel ashamed of being a part of the city. Amen. Knowing that we have citizens that are living less, when I say less than what any of us would expect, and he wasn't exaggerating for an animal. Mr. Daniels actually was there. I don't know if anyone else has taken the time to go over. And again, I was just going to look at the water on the road. And I think because no one had ever been over there to actually speak to those residents and to see the conditions that they're living in, and they're afraid to speak up about it because they're fearing retaliation. So after I was done, I did speak with Ms. Stein about House Bill 404, which is something, it's a tool that we have in our toolbox where we can actually hold accountable landlords that are having their properties in those types of conditions, because we don't have to have that within the four walls of our city. So I want to also commend Ms. Stein and her department, because they have been over there and they have talked to those citizens. And they did mention one of your code enforcement officers as well, and they're extremely grateful for it. But to me, the training doesn't mean anything to me if I can't come back and apply it. And that day, I felt like everything that I've learned in the 3 or 4 years that I've sat here, whether it's something I've done or not done, but what I've learned is the most important thing is the citizens that are in the city, and that to me is where the rubber meets the road on anything that I've done. And so, as a city, we need to make sure that we're focused on the right thing. And to me, it's the citizens. That's all I have to say, and I hope that some of you also go over to that neighborhood and take a look at what I'm talking about. And I'd be happy to show photos. That's all I have.
Okay. Many of the things that go on in the city of St. Mary's go on quietly and are done by the staff on a regular basis, and they don't necessarily go out and tell everyone, look what we did, or what we're trying to do. So we appreciate everyone understanding that that goes on every day, and we ought to be thankful for what gets done, and we need, as you've heard here, we want to do better. We always want to do that. And if it's assumed that we don't want that, then you're wrong. I just want to make sure you understand that. So the only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you pay attention to candidate forum. Dates are out and at the PSA. And I want to thank, I know there were several others here, but the candidates that are running for office in St. Mary's or for the state offices. Some of you were here today, and I want to thank you for being here, because there's nothing like living the job right here and observing, as rambunctious as it may be, it moves forward, and that's the most important thing. And we complete the jobs that we are working on for the city to do exactly what we want, which is to be a great place to live. So I appreciate all of you being here tonight, and thank you for your perseverance in staying through this, and for those of you that stayed for the presentation. Mr. Horton, one more time on the presentations for Exit 1. Some of them are...
The 19th and 25th, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I heard that.
You did a great job on that presentation, too.
Okay. All right, unless there's anything else to be said, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Madam Clerk, that's unanimous.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna tell you something now. If we can afford it, and I don't know if we can afford it. Where you park? We need to hire out.
Front, all right, I'm on the side, I'll bring it around.
Everything.
Well,
Right there.
we did have the grass mowing was hired out. Remember?
Throughout the whole entire city of St. Mary's, or just out there on that?
Yeah, everything, but the PSA closed it down. They're no longer doing it.